she knew it, she was plunging into a frigid abyss. The icy waters engulfed her, and she felt her breath leave her in a gasp. A terrifying presence became known as she thrashed around disoriented and panicking. In the inky blackness, she saw it. A monstrous shape materialized from the depths. A sleek, massive great white shark with rows of razor-sharp teeth glinting in the pale moonlight. It circled around her, a predator sizing its prey with cold, calculating eyes. Diana's heart pounded with terror as she struggled to propel herself towards the yacht, her limbs flailing wildly in the inky depths. But her desperate bid for survival was thwarted by the sinewy shadow that streaked towards her with deadly speed. The great white shark surged in front of her, cutting off her escape with the sheer power of its presence. Diana's throat tightened with a primal fear that threatened to choke her as she spun around and bolted in the opposite direction. She could hear the thump of her own heart echoing in her ears, mingled with the sound of the shark's relentless pursuit. The predator's jaws loomed ever closer, a glimmering row of razor-sharp teeth reflecting the pale moonlight in a sinister dream. Diana's mind raced with frantic thoughts, knowing she had to outsmart the shark to survive. Diana's survival instincts kicked into overdrive, compelling her to fight back against the monstrous creature that had threatened to claim her life. She punched the shark with a flurry of desperate blows, lashing out with her fists and feet to fend off the relentless predator. But the more she fought, the more the shark's aggression grew, fueled by the primal instinct to hunt and kill. Then, with lightning speed, the shark lunged forward and sank its razor-sharp teeth into Diana's arm, severing it from her body in a sickening crunch. Diana's anguished scream echoed through the night, mingling with the sound of the churning waves and the roar of her predatory beast. Her blood stained the water a deep crimson, a macabre dance of life and death unfolding in the inky depths. Her friends watched in mute horror, their eyes wide with disbelief and terror. They were powerless to intervene, to save their beloved friend from the jaws of the ruthless predator. Diana's fate hung in the balance, a cruel reminder of the savage, unforgiving nature of the sea. The captain tried to shoot the shark with a harpoon, but it was useless. The shark was determined to prey on Diana. After biting off her arm, the shark retreated temporarily to the depths of the sea, with Diana's severed limb. Diana was in agony, her blood mixing with the cold, salty water. She tried to swim back to the boat, but her injury made it impossible to move quickly. She was getting closer to the life buoy thrown by her friends, and as it was almost within reach, the shark launched another attack from the bottom of the sea, devouring the lower half of Diana's body. The attack was so sudden and powerful that the shark sprang out of the water with Diana in its mouth. The upper half of her lifeless body, from her torso to her head, was visible as the crew saw the terror on Diana's face. Then, as suddenly as it had attacked, the shark made a massive splash as it returned to the water, dragging Diana to the depths of the sea. And suddenly, a deafening silence engulfed the sea. All that was left was a pool of blood and churning water as the great white shark tore Diana limb from limb, devouring her at the bottom of the ocean. All the people on the yacht were in shock. They reported the incident to the local authorities upon reaching dry land. In response, a thorough search was conducted, but no remains of Diana ever surfaced. The tragic incident has shaken everyone at the wedding party, and the memory of Diana's horrifying death haunted them for years to come. Once a beautiful and serene backdrop to their celebration, the ocean had become a terrifying reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface.
Sinister counterpoint to the dazzling reef, and bringing up the rear, a hammerhead shark with its distinctive cephalofoil swung side to side as it swam, observing Patrick with a detached curiosity. Time stretched into an eerie stillness as Patrick and the sharks maintained a wary standoff. Every heartbeat echoed in his ears, resonating like a drumbeat of impending doom. He couldn't help but marvel at the elegance of the apex predators, as their power and grace commanded respect, even in that difficult moment. Patrick slowly ascended, inching his way towards the surface. He kept his movements deliberate, avoiding any sudden gestures that might have triggered an automatic response from the sharks. His heart pounded in rhythm with his calculated breaths, each a testament to his will to survive. Minutes stretched into an eternity as Patrick continued his ascent, while the sharks maintained their watchful vigil. He dared not look back, as he trusted his instincts and the primal connection that bound all creatures in the throes of existence. Finally, he was greeted by the water's shimmering surface like a long-lost friend. With one last captivated by the allure of the ocean, they decided to go for a moonlit swim, away from the prying eyes of the other tourists. As they waded into the water, the couple was blissfully unaware of the impending danger. The warm, gentle waters of the Atlantic Ocean suddenly turned dark and mysterious. Unbeknownst to them, a pair of massive bull sharks lurked beneath, now turned chilly, sending goosebumps racing up their skin. The playful evening was about to take a horrifying turn. Startled, they exchanged anxious glances, realizing they were not alone in the water. Panic set in as they glimpsed the ominous silhouettes of two bull sharks circling them. The sharks, typically found along the Brazilian coastline, were known for their size and aggressiveness, and their presence here was anything but reassuring. The moonlight cast eerie shadows, making the encounter even more haunting. The sharks, with their dark, sleek forms, circled closer and closer, their dorsal fins cutting through the water like daggers. The sharks closed in, and the situation grew attack. The Brazilian authorities, who were well aware of the presence of bull sharks in their water, measures were put in place to prevent future encounters, such as installing warning signs and increasing patrols. The couple's experience had a profound impact on their lives. They realized the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. Albert and Mary left Brazil with a newfound respect for the ocean and a shared determination. 1899, and their dream was to explore the mesmerizing world of bull sharks that thrived in the waters off the coast of Point Sampson. Little did they know that this adventure would take a sinister turn into a realm of suspense and terror. The Williams family hailed from a coastal town not far from the Great Barrier, gaining a profound understanding of the ocean's ecosystems, deep-rooted respect for the creatures that dwelled beneath the canyon, capturing the beauty of the underwater world with every click. The tour of the ocean's depths was a siren song to her. With its kaleidoscope of colors and mysterious depths was their playground, and their curiosity was insatiable. As the Williams family arrived in the small coastal town of Point Sampson, their anticipation was palpable, and they were met with the striking beauty of the Great Barrier Reef. The azure waters and the vibrant coral formations were breathtaking. They couldn't have imagined a more perfect setting.
She had spent countless hours studying the intricate ecosystem of the reef, from the colorful coral to the dazzling schools of fish that swam by. And as she explored this mesmerizing underwater wonderland once again, she was filled with awe at the intricate balance of life that existed there. Each time she plunged into the depths of the reef, Mary felt like she was stepping into a magical realm, where the beauty and harmony of nature never ceased to amaze her. Ningalo Reef was a coral paradise, with its stunning array of corals in all shapes and sizes, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that seemed almost otherworldly. Mary had dedicated her life to understanding these complex ecosystems, and no place he would rather be than in the crystal clear waters that surrounded his home. Oslob was a small fishing village located on the southeastern coast of Cebu. It was a place of tranquil beauty, with the sparkling blue waters of the Bohol Sea stretching out as far as the eye could see. The village was nestled among verdant hills, with wide sandy beaches that were fringed by palm trees. The locals were friendly and welcoming, and the pace of life was slow and unhurried. It was a place of simple pleasures, where the sound of the waves and the scent of the sea air were enough to make Juan feel content. One warm afternoon, Juan was exploring the shallow waters, diving for pearls in its favorite spot. The sun danced on the surface, casting a mesmerizing play of light as Juan scanned the sandy seabed. As he reached out to pick up a particularly gleaming pearl, something caught his eye and his peripheral vision. With a sudden burst of speed, a massive figure was closing in on him. Juan's heart skipped a beat as he realized it was a bull shark, known for its aggressive nature and sharp teeth. Panic surged through him as he tried to swim away, but the shark was faster, closing the distance in a matter of seconds. Before Juan could react, the shark lunged at him, its jaw snapping shut around his arm. The pain was searing as the shark's razor-sharp teeth sank into his flesh, drawing blood that mixed with the surrounding waters. Juan's mind raced as he struggled to break free, but the shark's grip was relentless. With a sickening crunch, the shark bit off Juan's arm, leaving him stunned and bleeding in the water. The once crystal-clear sea turned crimson as blood billowed around him, clouding his vision. As the shark swam away with Juan's arm in his jaws, Juan was left stunned and reeling in shock. The pain was excruciating, and panic surged through him as he realized the severity of his injuries. With a sheer force of will, he managed to swim towards the surface, his remaining arm propelling him through the water. Just as Juan reached the surface, he gasped for air and looked around. One of the most terrifying things a person can witness, let alone experience. Sharks have rows of razor-sharp teeth attached to a powerful jaw, capable of ripping a human head off in an instant. So the fear of the ocean that many people have is quite justified. The story we have for you today concerns Sam Mitchell, a tourist who found himself in the murky deep and in the face of death, from which he didn't manage to escape. The story of his demise was told by his best friend Thomas as a first-hand witness. Thomas and Sam met in Oklahoma during a comedy show in 2000, and remained steadfast friends through shared interest and a love for ocean fishing. The pair went on many voyages to catch fish, from the waterways of their hometown to the deep oceans around the United States. Sam's favorite fishing experience was fishing for Goliath groupers in the Florida Keys, as the sheer power of the beast was something that couldn't be described with words, repeating what had happened in his head multiple times. He couldn't accept that his best friend was dead, and the night he spent alone in the room was haunting. He somehow got through the night and boarded a plane back to Oklahoma the next day, phoning his wife and telling her about the incident in the process. As he grew older, his fascination only deepened, especially when it came to the creatures that call the underwater world their home. He was mesmerized by their power, grace, and raw beauty, and he wanted to share their magnificence with the world. Ryan became a skilled underwater photographer, always on the lookout for that perfect shot that would capture the essence of the ocean's predators. He spent countless hours studying their behavior and movements, observing their hunting strategies, and waiting patiently for the right moment to snap a photo. He dove deep into the ocean, braving the dark and the cold, determined to capture the elusive, and the family woke up early to load up their car. They had packed everything they needed, from snacks and water to clothes and toiletries. Jackson had even brought his guitar, hoping to practice during the long car rides. As they drove out of the neighborhood, Mrs. Thompson put on some music and the family sang along. They drove through several states, visiting the Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, and the smell of salt water in the air. They remembered that they were near a beach and decided to spend the day there. The family packed up their towels, sunscreen, and wading into the waves and feeling the cool water wash over their feet.
A deep and unwavering resolve to overcome the challenges ahead. It was as if their gaze became a conduit for their shared determination, a silent agreement to face this trial head-on and emerge unscathed. The survival dance began as the individuals found themselves in a challenging situation. With deliberate movements, Mark maintained eye contact with the predators, their bodies angled to assert dominance. They ascended slowly, executing a maneuver specifically designed to communicate their lack of aggression. The sharks sensed the intent of the individuals and proceeded to mirror their movements, showcasing the primal intelligence that coursed through the ancient veins of these magnificent creatures. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours as the ballet of survival unfolded in the silent depths. The majestic and fearsome sharks maintained their vigil, their presence a constant reminder of the wild heart that beat within the ocean's depths. Finally, the surface shimmered above as Mark and Isabella broke through into the realm of air and light. Gasping for breath, they were clinging to the Aquatica ladder, their limbs trembling with exhaustion and relief. With a weathered face etched with concern, Captain Elias extended his helping hand and assisted them as they boarded the vessel. As the crew recounted their harrowing encounter, awe and reverence settled over them. Mark had witnessed a dance with the untamed, a testament to the power and majesty of the ocean's apex predators. In the days that followed, a transformation occurred within Mark and Isabella as they emerged from their harrowing ordeal, their hearts filled with a profound and enduring reverence for the untamed forces of nature. The experience had acted as a vivid reminder that the intricate struggle for survival played out in the untamed core of the natural world. It was a dance that required a delicate balance between the unwavering will of humans and the primal forces that intricately shaped the world. The meeting between John and Isabella and the sharks had evolved into a tale of caution and survival. The bravery of the locals was spoken of with hushed reverence as tourists arrived with wide-eyed curiosity, their eagerness to explore the same waters that had birthed such an extraordinary story evident in their expressions. As the years continued to pass, Mark and Isabella remained connected by the unbreakable bond forged in those fateful moments beneath the waves. Drawn by a magnetic pull transcending time, they found themselves irresistibly compelled to return to Avalon Beach. The subsequent dives of the individual were characterized by a heightened level of comprehension regarding the uncharted and untamed realm that they skillfully traversed. Each time the user encountered marine life, they approached it with tempered respect, acknowledging the delicate balance between their curiosity and the primal forces that ruled
The beach glistened invitingly beneath them. The coral reef hidden beneath the surface was a world of wonder, teeming with a colorful array of life that awaited their discovery. They were no strangers to this underwater world, having explored its depths many times before, but each time held the promise of something new and exciting. With a sense of anticipation, they descended into the water, their fins slicing through the gentle waves. As they drew closer to the reef, the suspenseful feeling grew. The coral formations towered above them, casting eerie shadows on the sand below. As they swam deeper into the reef, the shadows grew longer and the colors more vibrant. Schools of fish darted past them, their scales flashing in the sunlight, while crabs and lobsters scuttled along the ocean floor, hiding among the rocks. Despite their familiarity with these waters, the sense of anticipation remained strong within them. The reef was a world of mystery and magic, and they knew that with each new dive, There was always the possibility of discovering something they had never seen before. But then, without warning, Clara was wrenched from her reverie by a sudden excruciating pain in her leg. She gasped, struggling to keep her balance as she looked down, only to see the cold, dead eyes of a massive bull shark staring back at her. Its razor-sharp teeth sank deep into her flesh, tearing and ripping as it thrashed back and forth. The world around her seemed to blur as the pain coursed through her body. She could feel her heart racing as the blood gushed from her wounds, staining the water around her in a sickening cloud of red. The shark seemed relentless, its grip unyielding, as if determined to drag her down into the abyssal depths. Panic and terror threatened to overwhelm her, but Clara fought to stay conscious, knowing that her only chance of survival was to stay focused, to stay alive. She struggled against the powerful jaws of the beast, her body writhing and convulsing as she fought for every breath, every heartbeat. The world had turned into a nightmare, a surreal and terrifying landscape of pain and terror. As the seconds ticked by, Clara's strength began to fade, and she knew that she was fighting a losing battle. But still, she fought on, determined to survive, to live another day, no matter what the cost. A blood-curdling scream escaped Clara's lips as the jaws of the bull shark clamped down on her leg, its teeth sinking deeper into her flesh with every passing second. The pain was unbearable, a searing agony that consumed her entire being. She felt as though she was being torn apart, her body racked with spasms of pain. But even as the shark thrashed around, trying to drag her deeper into the water, Clara felt a strong hand grab her and pull her away. It was George, reacting with lightning speed, his muscles bulging with the effort of hauling her to safety. His grip was iron, his determination unshakable, as he battled against the brute force of the shark. The ocean was in turmoil as the predator and prey battled fiercely in a maelstrom of foam and bubbles. The deafening sound of waves crashing was overshadowed by the thrashing of the shark's tail as it relentlessly pursued Clara and George. Clara felt the rough, abrasive texture of the shark's skin scrape against her leg, sending shivers of terror down her spine. The jaws of the monstrous creature clamped down with a force that threatened to break her bones as she felt the warmth of her own blood spilling into the water. As Clara's vision began to blur and her strength started to wane, she thought it was the end. But then, she felt George's grip tighten around her and his muscles tensed with a sudden burst of energy. He pulled her away from the jaws of death, and they hurtled towards the surface, as if escaping from the depths of hell itself. Gasping for air, Claire broke through the surface, her chest heaving as she gulped in a great lungful of salty air. She looked around frantically, expecting to see the shark's fin closing in on them at any moment. But to her relief, there was only the sun-drenched sky and the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. It was a narrow escape, but they had survived. And as they lay on the sand, exhausted and shaken, Clara knew that she owed her life to George's bravery and quick thinking. Clara and George had narrowly escaped with their lives, but the terror of the attack would haunt them forever. From that day on, they never went into the water without a healthy dose of caution, knowing that danger could be lurking just beneath the surface. She felt as if she was about to enter a whole new world, a world filled with unknown creatures and unimaginable beauty. Lisa felt as though she was venturing into an uncharted universe as she sank into the depths of the ocean. Alien-like creatures surrounded her, flaunting their striking colors and unusual forms, as if they were plucked from the pages of a science fiction novel. Bright and vivid fish raced past her in flashes of neon, their scales gleaming in the sun's warm rays. In mesmerizing patterns, schools of silver fish whirled around her, as if in a trance, like a rhythmic and hypnotic dance. The beauty of the underwater world faded as Lisa's eyes fixated on a looming figure in the distance. It seemed to be emerging from the shadows of the murky depths, revealing its massive size. Her heart pounded in her chest as her breaths came in short, panicked gasps as she recognized the predator in front of her. A sense of dread washed over her as she could feel the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. It was a tiger shark, easily measuring over 20 feet long, and its sleek body moved through the water with a graceful yet intimidating power. Lisa's mind raced as she tried to remember the guide's instructions on how to avoid attracting sharks, but her mind went on panic. Terror gripped Lisa as she frantically kicked her legs, feeling the weight of the ocean pressing down on her. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest, threatening to burst out of her ribcage as she struggled to gain some distance from the approaching creature. But her movements only seemed to incite the beast, causing it to move faster and closer towards her. Its powerful body sliced through the water, sending ripples across the surface as it moved with deadly intent. Lisa could feel the hairs on the back of her neck stand up as she realized that she was face to face with one of the ocean's most fearsome predators. Despite the guide's reassurances, Lisa could feel the weight of her fear pressing down on her chest like an anchor, dragging her deeper into the abyss of terror. Her heart pounded in her ears as she made her way towards the boat, her movements frantic and uncoordinated, like a panicked prey desperately trying to escape the predator's grasp. But her attempts to flee only seemed to draw the massive shark closer, its fins slicing through the surface of the water as it circled around her like a vulture circling its prey. The other divers froze in terror, their faces etched with horror as they watched the deadly dance between Lisa and the shark. Down on the pristine waters of Monterey Bay, casting a warm glow on the tranquil scene below, the gentle waves lapped against the shore, creating a soothing soundtrack to the picturesque landscape. The clear blue sky stretched out above, inviting anyone to venture out into the endless expanse of the ocean. It was a day that begged to be enjoyed, a day that whispered promises of adventuremen who had been working together for years. They had all grown up in the coastal town of Yokohama, Japan, and had learned to fish from their fathers and grandfathers before them. They had caught all kinds of fish, from small anchovies to large tuna, and had even managed to snag a few exotic fish that had fetched a high price at the local fish market. But there was one fish that had always eluded them, and that was the shark. Sharks were known to be one of the most elusive and dangerous fish in the sea, and catching one was considered a feat of great skill and bravery. Toshiro had heard that there was a high demand for shark meat in the city, of encouragement and comfort, but with a renewed sense of caution and respect for the sea. They had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of their profession and the importance of safety, and they were determined to never forget it. As if daring her to succumb to the sea's unpredictable whims. The sun's fiery descent cast an amber light over the teak deck, illuminating the faces of the revelers with a warm, inviting glow. Diana could hear the laughter and music drifting in the breeze, a siren song tempting her to join the merrymaking. But as much as she longed to let loose and celebrate her friend's nuptials, the water beneath her feet stirred a primal fear deep within her. Diana finally let herself unwind.
Days flew by as excitement continued to build. Leo had already saved a substantial sum for this grand tour, and even invested in a new camera to capture the beauty of their journey. The day they had all been eagerly awaiting finally arrived. They gathered at the airport, packed and ready for their adventure. With hearts full of anticipation, they boarded their flight to the Bahamas. The view was spectacular, and they could hardly wait to explore their new surroundings. Their hotel was strategically chosen to be near the sea, affording them easy access to the oceanic wonder they had come to see. They spent their first day exploring the area around their hotel, soaking in the local culture and preparing for the grand adventure ahead. As dawn broke the following day, they eagerly set out for the sea. When they arrived at the shoreline, they found a friendly crew waiting to help them with their seabound journey, and saw people search for their missing companion. Their frantic search led them to Leo's abandoned board and camera, which lay eerily still on the water. It was a chilling sight, and dread filled their hearts as they realized the gravity of the situation. As they scoured the area, they spotted patches of red in the water, a gruesome testament to the violence that had unfolded just moments before. Devastated and in shock, Leo's friends had no choice but to accept the grim reality journey, a bittersweet memento of their shared story of Leo serves as a poignant reminder of the unpredictable and sometimes perilous nature of our passions and dreams. Journey that would forever was willing to expend his family's wealth to fuel his passion for exploration and together they delved into a fascinating project centered around a seaside the seaside, including its varied vistas and intricate condition in their homeland on a sunny Sunday. In preparation for their journey, Adam and his girlfriend diligently gathered the necessary equipment, project details, and cameras to capture the beauty of the meeting with people. Families relishing themselves in coastal history along the picturesque coast in their photographs. The turquoise depths seemed alluring, and the sun's rays danced on the surface, casting a mesmering to capture even more breathtaking shots from the water, where the world below promised hidden wonders, and the chance to capture nature's secrets from a unique perspective. As he swam deeper, camera in hand, Adam was completely absorbed in the underwater world. Vibrant corals and exotic fish surrounded him, creating an enchanting photo opportunity. He had never felt so close to nature's beauty. But beneath him, unbeknownst to Adam, a powerful predator had taken an interest. The tiger shark, lurking silently in the depths, had sensed the intruder. It began to approach, but its movements were slow and cautious, mirroring the typical behavior of sharks when investigating unknown objects or creatures in their territory. Just as the shark was drawing, Captain extended a long pole with a buoyant float attached to it toward Adam, allowing him to grab hold of it as he continued swimming. Recognizing the urgency, Adam gripped the buoyant float tightly, and the captain carefully and slowly pulled him back to the safety of the boat. It was a tense moment, But the combined efforts of the captain and his girlfriend allowed Adam to escape the potential danger of the approaching tiger shark. The incident deepened his passion for capturing the beauty of nature, but it also instilled in him but also worked to promote conservation and awareness of the fragile ecosystems he had been fortunate enough to
his boat, scanning the horizon for any signs of a shark. He even invested in special gear, including a stronger fishing line and hooks, to ensure that he would be able to catch the shark once he found it. Toshiro was determined to catch the shark, not just for the thrill of the hunt, but also for the potential profits it could bring him. He was willing to break the law to achieve his goal, even though he knew the risk and consequences of getting caught. That is why when Toshiro heard that there had been sightings of sharks in the open waters of the Pacific Ocean, he suggested to the crew that they try to catch one, knowing that it would be a risky but potentially lucrative endeavor. The crew was looking for a big catch to make up for the slow fishing they had experienced earlier in the week, so they agreed to Toshiro's suggestion, albeit reluctantly. They set to work, preparing their gear and bait for the shark hunt. They had a large boat equipped with a powerful motor, and they scanned the horizon for any signs of a shark's pen. They knew that sharks were attracted to schools of fish, so he scanned the water for any signs of movement or activity. They also checked their fishing chart to identify areas where the water was deeper, hoping that this would increase their chances of finding sharks. After a few hours of searching, Toshiro spotted a large fin breaking the surface of the water in the distance. He knew that this was likely the shark he had been looking for, and he quickly steered the boat in its direction. As they approached the shark, Toshiro could feel his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that sharks were dangerous, and that any misstep could be fatal. But he was determined to catch the shark, and he believed that he had the skills and experience to do so. Toshiro, being the most experienced fisherman in the crew, took the lead and began taunting the shark with his fishing pole, hoping to provoke it into attacking. But the shark was not easily fooled. It circled their boat, watching him carefully and waiting for an opportunity to strike. Toshiro cast his line, using a large piece of fish as bait. He waited patiently for the shark to bite, hoping that he had chosen the right spot and the right time to catch it. The tension on his fishing line was palpable, and he could feel his adrenaline rising as he waited for the shark to take the bait. Finally, the shark made its move, lunging at the bait with lightning speed. Toshiro pulled his line away, trying to get the shark to come closer to the boat so they could catch it. The crew was excited, and they cheered Toshiro on, watching as he fought with the shark. But the shark was too quick, and it turned on him, attacking his arm and dragging him into the water. The crew quickly sprang into action, pulling Toshiro back onto the boat and attempting to save his life. They saw that Toshiro had suffered serious injuries, with bite marks on his arm and torso, and blood was gushing from the wounds. The crew knew that time was of the essence, and they immediately began to administer first aid to Toshiro. One of the crew members applied pressure to the wounds to stop the bleeding, while another crew member checked Toshiro's pulse and breathing. The crew realized that they needed to get Toshiro back to shore as soon as possible so he could receive proper medical attention. They radioed for emergency assistance and were able to get in touch with the Coast Guard, who sent a rescue helicopter to their location. In the meantime, the crew worked tirelessly to stabilize.
It became a platform to share not just the splendor of the natural world, but also the need to protect it. The lessons learned in the face of danger became a driving force behind his work, reminding others that for every stunning vista and captivating encounter, there lay a profound responsibility to safeguard the delicate balance of nature's. Through her consistent and outstanding performance, she soon began to achieve recognition on an international level, garnering numerous prestigious awards that established her name in Leston. Settled on May 4th, a Sunday, as the date for their long destination, a breathtaking stretch of coastline in the Bahamas. Some of the friends decided to take a leisurely walk, while others settled down in the world she loved so much. As she waded deeper into this, what none of them could have anticipated was the impending danger lurking beneath the tranquil surface of the water. Unbeknownst to Emma, a massive and hungry tiger shark had silently observed her from the depths. As she swam further into the sea, the shark decided to make its move. With incredible speed, the shark set in as they realized the dire situation unfolding before their eyes. Instinctively aware of the impending danger, Emma made a swift attempt to reach the water's surface. In a horrifying moment, the tiger shark's jaws closed around Emma's body and she was sent hurtling through the water. The friends on the shore were filled with a paralyzing fear as they witnessed the life and death struggle taking place just offshore. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against her, Emma's determination and survival instinct kicked in. She fought with every ounce of strength within her, managing to break free from the shark's grasp. Though she suffered a severe injury to one of her legs in the process, she paid it no mind as she swam with all her might towards the safety of the shore. Her friends, now in a state of sheer panic, rushed into the water to aid her. Emma managed to make it to the shore with their support, Her leg bleeding profusely from the team acted swiftly to assess Emma's. Her name was now associated not only with her impressive achievement. In the wake of the shark attack, Emma's life took on new meaning. She became an advocate for shark conservation.